So we're going to talk now for a little bit, if we could, about the superintendent search committee and that process. I'm going to kick it off, and then I'll have Paul and Larry really kind of fill in some blanks and paint this out for us. I talked with both of them this week or in the past week about this process, and got regrounded myself. I was part of the school committee when we found Mr. Zinni. I was not on the search committee, but the way the process works is you have a search committee that is comprised of multiple members of the school committee, administration, students, parents, ... We'll talk about that in a minute. That does a lot of the work of kind of in consort with a third-party group that we'll talk about also about in a minute. That's going to help us source candidates. That search committee is going to do a lot of the work around interviewing those candidates and finding potential new superintendents for us to take a closer look at. Then when we narrow that down to whatever it is, 2, 3, 4 that we want to look at, the full committee will be involved, the full King Philip School Committee, that is, will be involved in the final round of interviews and the selection or the, making an offer to our top candidate.
Quite honestly, my contract allowed me to give you very late notice, but I didn't want to do that. There are some great candidates out there, but unlike many, positions in education right now, there are not always a huge number of really strong candidates, and I wanted you to have first pick. And so that's why I let you know in November, even though I'm not leaving till June, because the process takes some time. And so there are a number of steps that go along with the process to really do a thorough job with that. And so I will do my best to kind of push and prod and remind you of those timelines to keep you moving forward so that you are not frustrated that you lose out on a choice that you might have wanted because somebody else was there first. There are some search groups out there, some agencies that do help school committees do searches, 2 predominant ones that Larry's done a little bit of research for you, and he can share that in just a minute. While you don't have to use one of those companies, you can do it on your own. I would strongly recommend that you use a company, and the reason is they have the capacity to push out the advertisement of the position in a much more global way than simply posting the position on SchoolSpring. And you really want to kind of put that large net out there so that you have as many viable candidates to choose from as you would like. I can't stress enough how much I've loved being here and how much I love the district and all of you and the kids and the staff and the administration. I really want to see a seamless transition, and you 6 months from now being deliriously happy that I settled off into the sunset because things are even going more smoothly 6 months or a year from now. But we can't do that unless you really kind of move forward and take the initiative, and we want to help you with that.
Yep.
So then the next thing we would suggest is kind of a makeup of that first level screening committee. I would say to you, from our perspective, I would recommend 2 district administrators. Larry is willing to serve, and I think Larry would be an excellent candidate for you because of his work with the budget. He's one of those people who has that unique understanding of the budget piece of that. Another district administrator that would be a good person for you would be your special education director, your director of student services. We haven't asked her yet, but I would suggest that we approach Lisa Moy because, again, student services, she handles everything from ELL, special education, homeless students, would be a good person to have a broad background in central office. And you would look if the principals can serve or another building administrator representing each building. And then we normally would go to the association and ask them to recommend at least a teacher from each building who could serve and represent the teachers. The second round, once you narrow the focus, you can bring in as many other focus groups as you'd like. You could bring in a group of students. I met with a group of 5 students when I came in for a day's visit. I met with the town managers. I met with the chiefs. I met with a lot of different stakeholder groups and I met with the elementary superintendents who then shared some thoughts with you as a school committee afterwards. But for the first round, you're going to be going through packets, and those interviews can be long. So you want like a group to do that first initial work, and then you can set up that second level of getting all those stakeholder groups.
Do we have any volunteers for this committee? Mr. Lehan, Mr. Cates, Mr. Waxman.
That works out for one from each town.
Motion to approve Mr. Lehan, Mr. Cates, and Mr. Waxman as our search committee members.
moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.